Kia ora, I'm David Chester with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news of more of the same, continuing American economic strength and worries about China's prospects. The number of Americans filing for new jobless claims fell to 190,000 last week, which is their lowest since February. A rise to 234,000 was expected, so this is a much better than anticipated result. The US labour market is remaining much stronger than almost anyone thought by the end of the third quarter. With this sort of continuing run, it is hard to see their September non-farm payrolls showing the weakening that has long been foreshadowed and hoped for by the Fed. American labour costs are rising, and with the extended labour market pressures, this isn't really a surprise. But it is a surprise that pay rates are rising faster than inflation. They're getting good labour productivity at the same time. Rarely do you get a virtuous combination like this in tight labour markets. It is actually quite remarkable. On the labour front there, the GM Workers Union rejected the car makers' 16% wage offer as far below their asking 46% demand. Such are levels in a hot labour market. China's August exports inched higher than in July, but were still 8.8% lower than a year ago, and this was their fourth straight month of year-on-year declines, and comes despite a weakening yuan. China's foreign exchange reserves slipped 1.4% to $3.16 trillion, a fall to $44 billion in the month, and their lowest level since February. But they're well up from just over $3 trillion in July 2022. The yuan weakened to a 16-year low today. And the EU's third estimate of its second quarter economic activity was revised lower to an expansion of just 0.1% in the period. And global container freight rates fell last week by 3.4%, continuing the recent retreat. The biggest falls were China to the EU. In fact, China to the US West Coast rates actually inched up last week. Freight rates for bulk cargoes were little changed. The US Treasury 10-year yield starts today down 3 basis points at 4.27%. And the price of gold will start today at just on $1,918 an ounce, essentially unchanged from yesterday. And oil prices are down $1 at just on $86.50 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is now $89.50 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar starts today little change from yesterday at 58.8 US cents. Against the Aussie, they were back up a quarter cent to 92.2 Australian cents. Against the euro, also a quarter cent firmer at 55 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index is hedged up by 20 basis points to 68.4. Get more news about the New Zealand economy from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again on Monday.